So two-way frequency tables are section 10, and that's topics 1 through 3. So all of your homework topics this week, which is topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3, all are due by Friday. Technically Thursday night if you're looking at the due date in Teams. So those 3 topics are due. You're more than welcome to do them early if you want. They are short videos. Most of them are under 10 minutes long. So I was just looking at them before I joined the class. And let's see. Just so I can tell you exactly. Let's see, tonight's video is 10 minutes. Wednesday night's homework is 10 minutes, and then the last one is 15. So 30 minutes total in homework for the week. It's not too bad. I think you guys should all be able to get that done and turned in. Okay. If you have any questions, you're going to have to unmute and ask me because I only have one computer screen. And when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see if you guys are writing a comment. Okay. So a two-way frequency table. Looks like they lost somebody. Okay. So a two-way frequency table is a table that displays the relationship between the data of 2 different variables. This is also called bivariate data. Bi meaning 2, and it's because we have 2 different variables, which is why we have a two-way frequency table. When we're dealing with two-way frequency tables, we're also usually talking about relative frequency. And relative frequency is the number of times something occurs divided by the total. So it can be written as a fraction, decimal, or percent. When we're dividing by a total, it can either be the total number surveyed or the total within a row or a column. So relative frequency can be either any of the totals. Okay, these are all of our totals here in this two-way frequency table. And most of the time, we're going to list it as a percent. Okay. So looking at an example that we have here below, it says Mr. Stanford asked the students in his class if they studied for the test or not. Then he recorded how many students passed the test and how many failed. He organized the data into this two-way frequency table. So when I'm looking at this table, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my rows, which are students studying and students who didn't study. Those are my rows. And then I'm going to highlight my columns. I have students who passed, and I have students that failed. Okay, so those are my columns, passed and failed, and my rows are studied and didn't study. Now, how many students studied? Well, I'm looking at this row. In total, the number of students studied was 15. How many students failed? Okay, so now we're going to look at the number of students that failed. Well, failed is this column, and the total number of students that failed is 17. How many students did not study and failed the test? So we need to look at one of these middle numbers because they have to qualify for both. So how many students did not study and failed the test? So did not study is here and failed is here. And so where they intersect is at 14. So there was 14 students that didn't study and failed. What percentage, okay, now they're asking for a percentage of students did not study. So we have students that studied and didn't study. This is our row. So we're looking at our rows. Okay, what percentage of students did not study? And we're comparing that to the total. So that would be 15 out of 30 did not study. So what is 15 out of 30 as a percentage?
50%.
50%. So that is the percentage of students that did not study. Okay, and we took that, it was just 15 out of 30. All right. What percentage of students passed the test? So now we're going to look at the students that passed the test. And that's this column right here. And the total that passed was 13. And we're still comparing that to the number of students surveyed total. So 13 out of, I wrote 50, but I meant 30. Sorry about that. 13 out of 30 actually is 43% of the students. That is the percentage of students that did not pass. 13 out of 30. Any questions on those so far?
How is it 43%? Like,
You can just type it into a calculator.
okay.
Or, I mean, if you do it the long way, then you would do right? And then you have to add in your decimal and add in a 0. How many times does 30 go into 130? It would be 4. 4 times 30 is 120. You're going to subtract and you're going to get 0. You're going to have to add another 0 and bring it down. How many times does 30 go into 100?
3 times.
3. 3 times 30 is 90. So, I mean, it would keep going because now 30 times 30, 3 times 30 is 90. Oops. You subtract and you're going to get 10. And then you're going to add 100. So it's going to keep going over and over again. So it would be 0.433, but then I changed it to a percent. So I moved that decimal. Oops, I had the wrong thing. So it was 0.43, and then the 3 would keep going, but I changed it to a percent. So I just moved it over, multiplied it by 100.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or you can just use a calculator. So out of the students that passed the test, what percentage studied? So now we're looking at just the students that passed, okay? So we're looking at just this column here. Of the students that passed the test, what percentage studied? Right? So it would be 12 out of 13.
That's the thing. I don't think.
Was that a question? $12 divided by 13 is actually going to give you about 92%. Again, if you want to do long division to figure it out, you can, or you can just use a calculator. Okay, so you have to be careful what it's asking, because this is asking out of the students that passed the test. And then they asked for the percentage. They didn't ask they didn't ask the students that passed and studied out of the total number of students. They just wanted to know out of the students that passed. So you have to use just that column total and not the whole total. What is the relative frequency of students who studied and passed the test? So now we're looking at that relative frequency that you're talking about in the beginning. And it's the number of times something occurs. So what is the number of times something occurs when students who studied, okay, and passed the test. So how many students studied and passed?
$12.
12. And how many total students were there? 30. So 12 out of 30 is going to give us 40%. And that is the relative frequency. It doesn't have to be listed as a percent, but I'm just in the habit of always listing it as a percent, but it can be listed as a fraction, or it can be listed as just a decimal and not a percentage. 40% is the same thing as 0.4, or it could also be simplified into 2/5. But most of the time, I'm going to use a percentage. So question 8, what is the relative frequency of the students who failed the test? So now we want to look at just the students that failed the test. Okay, so total, how many students failed the test? 17. And of the 17 students that failed, there was 30 students total. So 17 out of 30 is equal to about 57%. Is there an association between studying for the test and passing the test?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
Yes. There is an association. Those that studied were more likely to pass.
What's an association?
Is there like a correlation? Do you think that because somebody studied that they're more likely to pass? If something's associated, it means one is kind of causing or resulting in the other.
Okay.
Is the statement always true? If a student studies, they will pass the test. Is that always
No.
true? No, because there were 3 students who studied that failed. So that answer is no. 3 students that studied failed. All right, so that's it for the first page. I want to go ahead and keep working on the second page because we have plenty of time. Okay, so now we are not given the frequency table, whereas in this first part we were given the entire frequency table and it was filled out for us. Now we have to fill out this frequency table on our own based on the information given to us in the example. So 20 freshmen, okay, 20 freshmen, so I'm going to write that here.
Wait, Miss, can I see number 8 for the first page?
Mm-hmm. Is that good?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. All right. So there was 20 freshmen and 20 sophomores. So I could fill in the total number of freshmen and sophomores were surveyed about their pets. 13 sophomores said they had dogs. So 13 sophomores said they had dogs. Out of the 20 freshmen, 9 had cats. Fill out the two-way frequency table below, then answer the questions. So everything that in the colored writing, right, was given to us in the word problem. Now we have to figure out the rest of the boxes. So that should be pretty easy, right? What is 20 plus 20?
40.
40.
40. All right. If there's 20 total freshmen were surveyed and 9 like cats, how many like dogs?
11.
11.
11, because 9 plus 11 is equal to 20. Now what about sophomores? How many sophomores like cats?
7.
7.
7. Now we can do our totals across. So how many total students like dogs? What's 11 plus 13?
24.
24. And how many total students like cats?
16.
16. Do
16.
24 plus 16 still add up to be 40?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we're good. So freshmen, I noticed that a lot of students need reminders. Freshmen are 9th grade, sophomores are 10th grade. Okay. So now we need to go ahead and look at these questions and answer the questions based on the table we filled out. So how many 10th graders have cats?
7.
16.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
16.
No, how many 10th graders, so sophomores, how many sophomores have cats?
7.
Oh, my bad. 7.
7. Yep. So 7 10th graders have cats. How many students own dogs?
24.
24. How many freshmen own dogs?
11.
11. What percentage of students own cats? So we're going to look at what percentage of students own cats. So cats total is 16. So 16 out of 40. And we're looking for that percentage. 16 out of 40 is going to be equal to 40%. What percentage of the students surveyed were in 9th grade? Ninth grade students were 20. So 20 out of 40 is equal to 50%. What is the relative frequency of 9th grade dog owners? So 9th grade dog owners is 11. 11 out of 40, or 11 out of 40 can be written as 27.5%. or 0.275. They all mean the same thing. Out of the sophomores, so now here's the key difference. So out of the sophomores, what is the relative frequency of owning a cat? So we're not going to compare owning a cat to the total. We're just going to be comparing it to the sophomores. Okay, so of the sophomores, which is 10th grade, okay, out of the sophomores, what is the relative frequency of owning a cat? So that's going to be 7 out of 20, or 35%, or 0.35. So in number 7, we're only looking at this column right here. Is there an association between grade levels and pet choices? Does there seem to be any strong association between grade levels and pet choices, or is it kind of just random?
Random.
Yeah. So there is no association. Which pet choice between dog and cat is the most popular?
Dog.
Dogs. Is this statement always true? A 10th grader is more likely to own a dog.
No.
No.
Not necessarily. There is not a strong association or correlation, so not necessarily. All right, so that is it for today's notes. You still have 20 minutes almost left in class, so once you finish the notes, you can go ahead and turn those in and get started on tonight's homework if you like. But once you've turned in today's classwork, you may leave the meeting.
Are you going to send a picture of the notes?
Yep. I just posted it in the comments there, and then I will post it in the section 10 channel, which I still need to create for this class.
Bye, Miss Sackaway. Have a great day.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Eduardo, did you open the assignment?
Yeah, I'm doing the thing right now.
Okay. Colin, were you able to open the assignment? I want to make sure that you get that turned in before you leave class today.
Still taking notes, miss.
Okay.